How close is God to you? How close is God to you? In Western European tradition, we come from a belief system that God lives in heaven. Now, there's a problem with that, and that is that where is heaven? Like, is it in Longreach? Is it in Barcolden? Is it out in the outback somewhere? Is it in Utah? Where's heaven? And so the problem with God living in a place you don't know where it is because God is there and we are here. And before you know it, that starts affecting a lot of things in our life. If God is there and we are here in prayer, then maybe God's there and we are here with how we treat people in the grocery store. Maybe God is there and we are here with how we treat our wife. Maybe God is there and we are here with how we treat our husband. Maybe God is there. And essentially, the ancient Hebrew idea was that you can't organize your life where God is here and you are there. Or you have a spiritual life and then you have a non-spiritual life. They believed everything you do and everything you say is spiritual. That God is with you everywhere you go. And the awareness that God is with you everywhere you go changes our behavior towards people. It's as basic as my granny saying, "Shane, would you have done that if Jesus was watching?" Which the implication of that sentence is that there's a moment Jesus is not watching. There's a moment where he's up there and we're down here. And it snuck into our translations in the Bible. This is the worst English translation in the entire Bible. My Father who is in heaven. Now, to be fair, they didn't ask me to help them translate the Bible. But I have a minor in Greek. I can read the Greek New Testament. I know a little bit about Hebrew. And in the Greek New Testament and in the Hebrew version of Matthew, they both say the same thing. It says, "My Father who's as close to me as the air that I breathe." In Greek, the word is uranos, which is plural. If you're going to translate it heaven, you've got to translate it heavens. So if you go from heaven to the heavens. But in 99% of all Hellenistic literature, the word uranos just is air or atmosphere. You could say it this way: "My Father who's as close to me as the air that I breathe." That for us to be effective in our prayer life, we have to deal with the issue that God is not far, he's actually close. In one sentence there, I just moved God from in heaven somewhere to right here as close as the air that you breathe. Our songs know it. Your spirit knows it. No, this is the air I breathe. No, nobody sings that and goes, God's in heaven. No. Why? Because we know deep in our heart that God is near. But if we believe in a value system that God is there and we are here, then we'll spend half of our prayer time trying to get God to come down. A simple definition of prayer is this: a turning of the head in order to face the one who can bear the burden. The first mention of the word prayer in the Bible is in Genesis chapter 4. The ancient Hebrew words are all written in hieroglyphs. They're all pictures. And so the first mention of prayer in the Bible in Genesis chapter 4, the word prayer has three pictures, three heads. First head is the front of the head. Second head is the back of a head. Third head is an ox head going into a yoke. So the earliest mentions of prayer in the Bible is prayer is any time you're turning your head in order to face the one who can bear the burden. Let's say it this way: anytime you're aware of God instead of yourself, you're in a state of prayer. So later a writer said this: pray without ceasing. Well, if prayer is about words and needs, and you're supposed to keep the command to pray without ceasing, it's going to make your trip to the movie theater highly irregular. So everybody's trying to watch a movie, and you're back there. Somebody says, "Sir, what are you doing?" "I'm praying without ceasing." "What? No. You're in the grocery store pushing it, and you're like, "Lord God, I'm just..." If you're doing that, you're weird. That's weird. It's weird. Stop. That's not praying without ceasing. Praying without ceasing, the command to pray without ceasing is to every minute of every day of your whole life, may you live in an awareness of the Mighty One. May you be able to shut this out and live aware that God is as close to you as the air that you're breathing. If you're aware that God is in your breath, you're in a state of prayer, whether you're at a rugby game or at the grocery store or at the movie theater seeing Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. Whatever you're doing, you are in a state of consciousness about God, and that should change the way you treat everybody.